Hi everyone, Christina here. Yeah, I'm back in Christinaart.se, Sweden, and it's been more than 2 months since I came back from West Africa, and it takes some time for me to get settled in because first of all, the first month I was moving around a lot, traveling here and there, and then what I do in the winters is that I pack away all my belongings in a container and then I take it up and get settled in my place here at the bridge where I'm working. And my studio is not really that much things, supplies, but it also takes some time for me to get peace and get into the feeling to paint and especially to film for videos. But here we are, and I hope you too also find time and space and peace to create if you're into that. Today I'm going to revisit an old idea, an old character that I really love, and so I'm going to make a drawing and then I'm going to paint it with Promarkers, which is an alcohol-based marker. So that is the idea for today.
I'm Christina. I'm an artist and teacher, and I live in 2 different worlds. One in Sweden, in a gorgeous location where I work as a bridge master, opening a bridge for sailing boats and motorboats. But most important is the other world, in West Africa, where I live in a beautiful tropical garden with lots of jungle, monkeys, lizards, and beautiful birds of all sizes. Every morning I get to enjoy the wildlife around me while having my breakfast or just a cup of tea in the company of my wonderful dogs that always stay by my side. When I enter my house, I come straight into my art studio. This is where I paint, draw, film, and sometimes host art classes for small groups. In my videos, you get to see a bit of my life, my artistic journey, how I paint, draw, some tips and tricks and thoughts about creativity. So sit back and enjoy, and please subscribe to my channel.
I actually just first want to show you that I did create one painting since I came, and it's my angel dog Abby. I found a nice photo and I made a drawing, and from that drawing, actually with that drawing I was creating this painting because I made an acrylic painted background and then I cut the drawing out and I glued it onto the background, and then I painted on top. So this is a technique I call paint over collage, and I've made one video. It's called the Crazy Cat Kurt, where I use this technique, and this one is this video is a shortened, very cut and edited version of from an online course I had, and so there you can see the technique that I used. So yeah, that's that. But back to my little other character. So I'm gonna start drawing my little sunflower here, and you can just follow along, and I'm gonna talk about various things meanwhile. These sunflowers, because it's not only one character, it's actually many characters that I've done, and this was something I started I think almost 15 years ago now. So you see, it's like an old idea that I'm bringing out to light again, and I have, so you can see one other little sunflower character, and this is sort of like a little baby sunflower taking a shower out in the garden. I kind of like this a lot. And then you have also and then you have also my sunflower choir here, and the next picture here is my sunflower band. And those two, the last ones, are actually from a specific project that I was doing back in, I think it's 2011, 10 or 2011. So that was fun, because then in the same painting, I'm like creating different characters. All of them have to look different, so that was fun. And here is also another one. Now this is not a sunflower, but it is like, it is a flower girl at least. And so she has pink petals, but you see the style is quite similar. She has also a little bit of hair, and but the style, the whole thing is similar, like a similar style. And what I did different here is that I'm painting her with Promarkers on white paper, but then I cut it out and I glue her onto an acrylic background, and then I play around with a little bit of stamps and stencils and make it into a card. So this turned out to be like a gift card. But back to my sunflower here. I think actually, because this is quite a simple character to draw, whatever you think now, because you have this round face, and then, you know, like I marked out the eyes, the nose, the mouth and everything, and then it's just to make the petals. And I mean, they can look a little bit however you want, if you want many of them, or if you want more few of them, or however. And also these, so you can see also the green leaves that I'm creating. I'm gonna make them into arms, and I like actually for the flower to have, with the help of these long leaves, I'm gonna make it into like a human body language, or how do you say, like I can have them spread out, like she's, or he is spreading out his arms, or like in this picture here, it's like you're holding your arms in the sides like this. And I like that thing that they turn into little half humans. The nose I'm going to keep as a little round, almost like an animal nose, instead of having a human nose. The eyes, you can do them actually how you want them, or if you want them a little bit smaller, a little bit more a different shape to them. Of course, I mean, it's all up to you, but the face itself being quite round, and also I'm using ears here, very simple ears, I think. And then all the petals and the surroundings and everything. But I think this is a very simple character if I were to make it into a course. So anyway, so I talked to you about that this was an old idea, almost 15 years old. And the thing is that I would like to talk about is, if you are creative and you paint, you draw, or you create something else, whatever you do, it is so good to always make a photo and save it, because the thing is, you probably don't have all your creations visible for yourself. Like, you don't have everything up on the wall. You probably have things maybe tucked away in the drawers, or maybe you gifted it so you don't have it anymore, or you sold it, or whatever. But it's so good to have a photo, and I would suggest, this is how I do, like, you can save it in a specific album on your phone or on your computer, and you can have sub files if you have different styles, whatever, just so, because it's so good to flip through old pieces and remember and get inspired from things you did, something you did before, and maybe you forgot, like, it's incredible. I forget, what I've created, and then I see like, oh yeah, that one. Some things I wouldn't bother, doing it again, but some ideas I feel like, oh, I really like that, So maybe I can make you can also like update the version if you want, like you make it into something else or whatever. And also, so you can pull a lot of inspirations from all things. And also I would say that let's say you make a painting and you're not completely satisfied with it, and you can't really change it, and you're just like, oh, I don't know. But there's something about it that you like. So I would suggest you take a picture of it. You could actually, whatever it is you like about it, it could be just the color combination, it could be the composition, the objects itself, like, wow, this type of object I like to paint again. Or it could be part of the painting. Like, I remember I did one painting where I have two animals. I had an elephant and I had a vulture, like in the corner, like a little vulture looking up. And I was not so pleased with the elephant. I was like, and it was too much layering that I didn't want to like paint over and start again, or trying to make it into this, like, no, I just left it. But I really loved the vulture. So what you can do is you can crop the picture, either like physically cut the piece out that you like, and or you crop the picture in your phone or in your computer, and you save whatever you like. It could be a pattern also, that like, wow, that pattern. And if you remember how you created it, it's good, you can note it down somewhere. But it's actually very good, because then you can go back and you can draw inspiration from your own artwork also. I mean, honestly, yes, I look at internet for inspiration less now than before. Of course I do that, but then it is also quite good to go back to see old ideas, and maybe just you can make them so much better. And yeah, so that is my my little advice, to have like a specific album for your artwork. So Promarkers is an alcohol-based marker, and it's usually, I mean, they're made to be used on white paper, sort of like color in illustration. And what I found is that it's good to have like a little bit thicker paper. It doesn't have to be super thick, but not really copy paper, because also you want it a little bit more firm, a little bit more glossy, because copy paper, it has a little bit too much, you could say, texture, that it bleeds away a little bit from it, Sometimes I don't bother that much, but normally I stick to this other type of paper. And in the art store, the craft store, you can find paper specifically for Promarkers. I have bought a bunch of, like you can buy 500 sheets of this paper, and it's called, let's see, color copy, 120 grams a square meter. Normally copy paper is 80 grams, and it's specifically made like for color copies. Anyway, so they have two tips, one thin and one wide, sort of like a little bit of a calligraphy tip to it, and they come in, I don't know how many, I think 160 different shades of all colors, and I have, I don't know, 100 at least 100 different shades. Anyway, so yeah, I love this. And the thing is also, when you put down paint, what do you say, like when you start to paint with the Promarkers, a lot of times, especially if you work on white paper, you will put something down and it's so dark and but you will see, especially if you work on white paper, but you will see when you start to coloring in your object here, that you will have to go back and reinforce with more and more and more to get a good result. So what I do a lot of times, when you have pens like this, you use one color here and one color there, you know, like, but no, I use them very much in layers, and what happens is that they kind of bleed into each other. So you can first it can look a bit sharp, but it actually starts to bleed and mix together. You have also some one thing called blender, but I don't use that much, you know. So I start usually with the light and I work dark. So I always see that I end up adding more and more and more layers. So alcohol-based marker it is, and it is transparent. Yeah, so this is why you can add layers on top of layers, and you can just either reinforce the same color by having two layers, or you can put one color on top of another one that would normally blend, you know. So if you have a yellow or blue, you put a yellow and you get green, you know, like, so it's a little bit like that. And normally I like to, in these illustrations, I like to use a very thin ink pen, black ink pen, or like a sepia, you know. It can look less sharp if it's a brown, very, very thin ink pen, just to put on the contours. When I'm done, sort of done with the coloring, I always like to put a little bit of light, like in the eyes, and maybe a little bit light shining on the nose and the mouth, and maybe some details, light details on other objects also. If it's like normally for the dot in the eye, I would use a white Posca pen. So then you go into a different medium. It becomes almost mixed media, because you have a different medium. And in this case, I ran out of white Posca pens here in Sweden, so I have to order them. It's crazy. I have a lot. I brought a lot to Gambia, but I forgot about leaving any here. So what I do have is a white gel pen. It is thinner, like a thinner tip, but it does the work sort of, because it's opaque on top of dark. So I will use that instead. And what I always like to do when I make these characters or these little images on white paper, I like to kind of frame it with very, very light blue. So I use a powder blue Promarker that I kind of go around all the contours in a way, just to frame it, give it a little bit of a background without being too much of a background, then you can, of course, you can add little dots or little swirls. That is like you find your little special things that you like to do to decorate your artwork. So I hope you liked the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. And I also put a link here to another video where I'm painting 2 blue monkeys with Promarkers. So until next time, enjoy, have a good summer, see you then.